Look, everybody.
It's the show dog.
The show dog.
I saw him pop up a little while ago.
I
I was
know.
like,
He's like, I
oh.
need to see my adoring public. Hey, patrons of Patreon. Look at this cute buddy. Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where this week we took a little deep dive into Elvis.
We sure did. We got our blue suede shoes on. I am Mandy of Sir.
And I'm Karin from Graceland.
Look at you.
Welcome,
Look at
welcome.
us.
Yeah. In our timeline, it is March 9th. And in y'all's timeline, it is March 17th. I still can't get over how fast
So
time moves.
freaking weird.
That's
It's
like
so
the
weird.
middle of the month. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know.
No, not at
I
all.
feel like it's fake news.
I agree. All right. Before we get into the segments, I just want to ask our listeners, send some good vibes to George Bailey as he continues
My baby.
continues to be a poor little thing. And
He's not limping anymore, but like he still has like they've called it heart disease, even though it's like very fine right now. They're like every 6 months we want to check him, and so now I'm like nobody gets on to him. He does nothing wrong, and anytime like anybody looks at him sideways, I'm like, stop it. He has heart disease. What do you mean he has to go outside? He's got heart disease. He's soaking it up.
So everybody send some good vibes to George Bailey.
My baby.
And we got some medical news in my family. So if everybody could send some love to my mom, everything's okay.
We just love support though. We need
support. We do need some support. But everything as of this moment is okay. Just send her some love.
Listen, stop everything. This is the most important manifestation I could ever do. Your mom is going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine. This is just going to be a little blip in the seasons of her life, and she's going to hit the ground running on to the next adventure for her. I don't know. She's going to be fine. I'm manifesting that right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she's going to be fine. You know, we just got to go through all the fun American healthcare. Yay.
That just makes me want to go to sleep.
This week in fangirling, Mandy, what'd you do?
I did not do a whole lot. We're in a very heavy season of work at my job. This is like our busy season right now, so have been slammed with work. So by the time I get home, I feed the twins and Josh and I crash. But I did start listening to Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. It's pretty good. Takes place like in our world, but there's also magic and different types of people, and it's about a boy who doesn't think he has any powers, and then suddenly they manifest out of what he thinks is nowhere. And I don't want to give away spoilers because like where his powers come from are pretty freaking cool, and I'm maybe not even halfway into it, but it's good so far. I also finished The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi. It was not what I expected it to be. It is very, very gothic, very, very good, very, very different.
Okay.
So it's a dual POV, and it's about one of the narrators is a man who meets a woman and falls in love with her and marries her, and she's very like magical and alluring, and she's just kind of very captivating. Everybody kind of seems drawn to her, but they also kind of keep her at arm's length because they're like, she's too magical for us. Like she's so high above us. And then the other POV is like her, I guess you would call it like her childhood best friend, her childhood sister, and the way that their storylines end up fusing together was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so that was really good. I'm gonna let you talk more about A Thousand Miles to Graceland because I read it too, but I started it too. I haven't fully finished. I'm almost done, but and I'll talk more about it with our guest today, but it's very nostalgic for me because my grandmother that I saw every single weekend of my whole childhood is like obsessed with Elvis. So it was very nostalgic for me. So I'm excited about that. It's cute. The biggest thing that I've been doing in fangirling this week is I don't know if this is going to mean anything to you or if you're just going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? I am fully engrossed in Scandival Sandoval. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so I'm not as bad anymore because I read more than I do anything, but I used to be the biggest like Bravo reality shows like follower. Like I watched all of them. I loved them all, blah blah blah. There's a show called Vanderpump Rules, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It follows the staff of a restaurant owned by Lisa Vanderpump. It's called Sir. It means sexy, unique restaurant. And she, I guess 10, 15 years ago, goes to Bravo because she's one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And she's like, I own restaurants with my husband. The staff in these restaurants could have their own show. Like it's the drama. She did not disappoint. Okay. Years of my boyfriend slept with some girl in Vegas and our whole friend group is in turmoil. And then now I think I'm going to stay with him, blah, blah, blah. This past week, one of the cast members who has been in a long-term relationship with his girlfriend for 10 years, they own a house together. They have dogs together. They are all but married by law, cheats on her with another girl from the cast. And this girl from the cast has played like this innocent, sweet little baby. One girl in my one of my favorite scenes from the show ever, she looks at her, she's fighting with her, and she goes, "You Bambi-eyed bitch," which is not wrong. She's a Bambi-eyed bitch. And it has like rocked the entire Bravo universe because I guess they were there filming when Tom Sandoval's girlfriend Ariana found a video. I guess he dropped his phone or something and she picked it up and went through it and found a FaceTime video phone sex session between her boyfriend and this girl. Apparently they've been in a relationship for years behind everyone's backs. They have matching necklaces to show their love for each other. They would go in like not costume, but they would like put on disguises so that they could go out to dinner together on dates, all while he had a girlfriend at home.
Wow.
And I was a few years behind, so I immediately put on Vanderpump Rules and started catching up on all of their drama. And one thing that the show will do is make you feel so lucky in your life. Because it's like, I know my friends would never treat me like this. I know my husband would never do me like that. And so watching the way that they fight and talk to each other and how awful they are to their best friends, our closest friend group, is like, thank God that is not my life. Like it makes you so thankful for your boring life, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Oh my
So
gosh.
I've been catching up on Vanderpump Rules because like they're filming a reunion with all of them in like a week where they're all going to have to sit in the same room. One of the girls, when she found out, she was with the cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was with the girl who was cheating. She confronted her and punched her in the face. And I'm not condoning violence, but now there's a restraining order. So how are y'all going to film a reunion that y'all have both signed up to? It's a whole delicious mess.
I'm not condoning violence, but I'm not condoning violence.
Right. Like I would want, because this is like, so the girlfriend that got cheated on, this was her very best friend in the world who did the punching, right? I would want you to punch a girl in the face if she found out she was sleeping with my husband, right?
I would.
Exactly. I would too.
I'd fly my ass out to Georgia just to punch her out.
And especially if it was someone that we were friends with. Like they're all friends with each other. So she's sitting there like, I'm on a girls trip in New York with my friend. I'm sorry, you're doing what now? You've been sleeping with who? Oh, I'm going to
Wow. Wow.
And speaking of drama, I also went like viral on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
So there was this stupid fight between these two women on my in like a local Facebook group, and I just like my friends on like I have friends on TikTok, they'll find it funny. I'll just like post a silly video and just like explain it. Oh, it's got like 360,000 views and like 11,000 likes.
Its drama, man.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, every time I log in, I have like every time I open TikTok, I have at least 20 notifications, and it'll be 4 or 5 new followers and this many comments and likes, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
Y'all, this is not my regular content. You're about to be so disappointed.
Josh and one of the twins was like, look, this needs to be your niche. Just like have a video of you looking at your books, but do a voiceover of, let me tell you about the drama. I think what I want to do is I want to say, like, let me tell you about the drama between these two people I know.
And
One
then
of
it's
them
the
owns a
book plot.
matchmaking company. Yeah. And one of them owns an app about dating. And at the end, and if you want to know more, read Lunar Love by Lauren Kung Jessen. You
I
know,
love
like,
I feel like I've seen that on TikTok. Like
I have it, but
I feel
I
like
could
I've
still,
seen
I could make it
or
my own.
I think I've seen people like talking about a book plot as if like they're talking about their friends, like they're
Yeah.
gossiping, like
Oh
something
yeah,
like
I've
that.
seen that. But I could do it with like because now like I started that video with let me tell you the drama. So I could do
Yeah.
that and like make it a tagline or whatever. We'll see. I don't know. I'm really lazy, so that might not even become a thing.
Yeah, I know.
But that
I've been
that was my
That's
week.
crazy.
It was kind of a boring, drama-filled, boring week.
That is so oxymoron.
I know. I know. All I've wanted to do all week is just lay in my bed. This time of year for work, like I said, is super busy. And it's like, because it's so busy, it's like seasonal depression on steroids. When I am not like having to be online at work, I just want to be in my bed crying. And it's just like, it's one of those, this too shall pass. It's just like, it's your job. You have to do it. And
It's
it's
like
nothing
tax season for
bad.
accountants.
Yes, it's just so busy and so rapid fire that it's like, oh my God, I want to be off so I can go cry in my shower floor. So yeah, I've been a bit of an emotional wreck this week and just not doing a whole lot of much.
That's fair.
What did you do this week?
So this week, over the weekend, I went to Nicole Chen's middle grade book launch for It's Boba Time for Pearl Lee. It is so cute. The book is so cute. And she's the author of the picture book, How We Say I Love You. And we went to her event a couple months back when she debuted that. So she had 2 debuts within like 3 or 4 months, which is insane.
Yeah, that's cool.
But very cool for her. And then one of the things that I wrote down was that somebody asked, like, does she have any projects, in the pipeline? What's she working on next? And this girl, she made this joke. She's like, so I'm writing this book and it's set in the 90s and for our adults, that's basically historical fiction now. And I'm like,
no, it's not.
I can't. All the adults in the room just like either groaned or started laughing. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't. The fact that they have like American Girl dolls that are like from our childhood and that's
with their personal pan pizzas.
I'm not okay.
No,
not okay. We're
I feel
old.
I feel like it is the 90s and I'm taking a really long nap. Like I cannot believe that I will be 34 years old this year.
I know. It's bonkers. So
like what?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Nope.
So there was that and they had boba at the event, which was delicious. And I got to catch up with Grace, which was fun. It's always fun seeing her. And then I forget the name of the other employee who works there who I talked to too. But she gave me a book recommendation like a while back and I read it, and so I was like talking to her about the book and we were just like totally gassing each other up about this book. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to like finish the series and then I'm gonna come back and have you give me more because it was amazing. So that was fun. And then I read a few books this week actually, which was surprising to me. So I read 1,000 Miles to Graceland by Kristen May Chase.
Very cute.
It's very cute. So synopsis real quick. Grace goes on a road trip with her mother Laura Lynn from El Paso to Graceland for Laura Lynn's 70th birthday. They run into old friends. They learn some new stuff about each other. It's a whole thing and it builds their relationship and it's very cute and it's very full of Elvis.
Yes, it is.
This book was like therapy for me as a fellow daughter of a Chinese mother survivor. I literally sat there just hugging the book after I finished it. I was like, this was what I needed. This was what I needed. I didn't know this was the kind of therapy I needed, but this was it. And it made me really want to go on like a structured road trip. Like I've done road trips where I've just kind of like driven with an end goal in mind, but I want to do one now where I have like stops planned along the way.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be fun, but that sounds like a lot of effort. So
Sounds like a lot of planning and a lot
it
of money and a
is.
lot of PTO.
And I don't have that kind of energy. And then I also read, I read it, technically I read the arc of it, but it came out on Tuesday and I read it like the night before. So nobody judge me. I'm really backlogged. But I read What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez, which is a debut novel coming from Claire Jimenez. The story is that Ruthie disappeared without a trace at the age of 13. And then 12 years later, her oldest sister Jessica is watching late night reality TV because she has a new baby and insomnia and all of that. And she sees this woman on the screen, immediately calls her youngest sister. What is her name? I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't, and I've forgotten. But she immediately calls her youngest sister, and she's like, you need to turn on the TV to this channel right now. And turns out the girl on TV has bright red dyed hair and a beauty mark under her left eye, which is exactly what Ruthie had. And so they're like, it has to be her. It has to be her. Like that's too much of a coincidence. And so they hatch this plan to go and like go to where the reality show is filming and like bring her home. And their mom kind of catches wind of it and she's like, well, I'm coming with you. And so the two sisters and the mom, and then for some reason the mom's like weird best friend also comes along. She's not weird, she's just extremely like Christian and judgmental.
Oh, yeah,
so
gotcha.
so they go on this road trip to go and bring her back. And so yeah, it's a little bit heavy, obviously. It's my worst nightmare as a parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have your kid
just
literally just disappear. But there is like some humor sprinkled in, some like really relatable situations. Every single one of these characters felt like a real person, like somebody that I could just meet like on the street, which was really cool.
That's good writing.
Yeah, it was really good writing. There are multiple POVs, and each POV is very distinct. Like I never once had to like flip and be like, hold on, who's talking right now? Like they all had a very distinct voice, and I thought it was so well done. And obviously this book also had a road trip, so that was a little I don't know how on theme. I don't know how I managed that, but yeah, I thought that was a fun little coincidence. So yeah, it was really, really good. I highly recommend it, especially as like a debut novel. I was incredibly impressed. Like, oof. So very What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez by Claire Jimenez. And then I have been reading the Blue Cedar Falls series by Jeannie Chin. The first book in the series is The Inn on Sweetbriar Lane, which follows the eldest sister June, who is trying to revitalize like the tourism in their like little small town, because I guess the state or whoever is in control of building highways, they build a highway that basically it doesn't have an exit to their little town anymore, so people aren't stopping there just on a whim anymore. So their tourism has gone way down, and they're like a very small, quaint, like they relied on tourism to keep the town afloat essentially. So she's trying really hard to like revitalize tourism. She's trying to restart this pumpkin festival that they have. She's trying to save her family's inn because her mom recently had a massive stroke and they're like in medical debt. And so she's trying to do all this for this town that she loves so much. And then in comes Army veteran Clay, who is incredibly grumpy and like hates the world. And he's come to Blue Cedar Falls in order to build a bar on Main Street because his old army buddy was from there, and it was always his dream to come back and build a bar and kind of disrupt the status quo.
Yeah.
And his buddy passed away while they were on tour overseas, and so he's like, I'm gonna do this for him. And so the location for the bar is right across the street from the inn, and he's doing all this construction at all hours of the day and is incredibly like not caring what anybody else thinks, because he thinks they're all just a bunch of small town busybodies who want to be all up in his business. So June, being like the absolute sunshiny person she is, goes across the street and is like, hey, what's going on? Can I help you with anything? And so they clash, but it's a romance, so you know
what's coming.
You know what's gonna happen. And like he's so grumpy and he's so like jaded, and he has good reason for it. Like, you know, his best friend friend bled out in his arms. So
Yeah,
it's like,
awful.
but yeah, they're just so like opposite, and it's so good. They're so,
Question.
yes.
What's the name of the book?
The Inn on Sweetbriar Lane.
Is the inn on
The inn.
Sweetbriar Lane?
The inn is not on Sweetbriar Lane. It is the Sweetbriar Inn on Main Street. I don't
wonder
understand.
why. I wonder. There has to be a reason.
So I think it's not explicitly clear in this book. I'm currently reading the third book in the series, and I think that the inn is on the intersection of Main Street and Sweetbriar Lane.
Okay, because I was gonna say I don't like it.
I didn't like it either. I finished the book and I was like, this was great, but why is this?
Hell?
What the hell? This title makes no sense. So, several books later, you figure it out.
You're like, oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's
I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I was getting to there.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, no, that's okay. But yeah, so it's like opposites attract, grumpy sunshine, enemies-ish to lovers. Like it's good. I love it. And then there is a novella that comes after that. It's called Only Home with You, also by Jeannie Chin. It follows Zoe and Devin. So Clay's best friend, who he meets at this town, his name is Han, and Zoe is his youngest sister, and Devin is his best friend. And they've all been friends for years. Zoe's had a crush on Devin since she was like 12. He's never seen her like that until her high school graduation. They have a moment and he's like, hold on a second. This girl is gorgeous. But nothing happens because Han's super overprotective and Devin's like, I can't risk anything happening because I'm so entrenched with him and his family. Like, what if things don't work out between us and like I lose all of them? So he's trying really hard to like not be attracted to her, and she's out here like extra flirty with him, like, all right, let's do this because I've had a crush on you since I was 12. And so and then Devin is like a sweet baby angel. He's the sweetest little man, and he has trauma with like a capital T with his dad. And so like when he was younger, his dad was awful, and so he basically was like taken in by Han and Zoe's family, which is why he's like, nothing can happen because
I'm not trying to break this up.
I can't lose this family. This is all I have. And so they're so sweet together. Like they are clearly friends first, and they both give each other like the strength, because both of them are kind of like go with the flow, not gonna rock the boat, like whatever. But they each like give each other the strength to like stand up for what they actually and especially like what they're passionate about, like things that they really want to get done. They like push each other to be better, and it's so
better
cute.
People. Oh.
And there's this one part near the end, and I guess spoilers. I mean, obviously everybody finds out in the end, right? But because it's a romance. But at the end, Zoe and Han's sister, so she's like the middle child, after everybody's found out, she like goes in to hug Devin, and she's like, welcome to the family. And Han looks at her, he's like, he's always been part of the family. And I was just like, oh, because he has, but now it's just like in a different kind of way,
in a dating capacity.
Yeah, but it was cute. He was like, this is how I'm gonna show that I'm supporting you even though I don't like it.
Yeah, because
that's my baby sister, and I can get that. Like I wouldn't want like a friend of mine dating my younger brother. It'd be weird. It'd be weird, but it works for them. So, and then book 2 in the series is called Return to Cherry Blossom Way, and this one follows June's middle sister May. And May left Blue Cedar Falls at 18, never came back. She's got this job in New York working as a travel writer. She gets to go all over the world and write about things, but because of what happens in book 1 with the festival, her boss is like, hey, isn't that where you're from? So she sends May back to Blue Cedar Falls to write a piece. Movie. It's kind of like a Hallmark movie. There's actually a whole like point where she's talking to her best friend, and her best friend's like, you've literally become a cliche, and she's like, I know, shut up. But yeah, so she gets sent back to Blue Cedar Falls to do this piece to kind of talk about what's happening in the small town and why it should be a tourist destination. And who does she run into but her ex, Han, from
Oh
previous books.
no.
And they were like high school sweethearts. Everybody knew that they were going to get married. They were perfect for each other. The only problem is May always wanted to leave Blue Cedar Falls and Han never wanted to leave Blue Cedar Falls. And so things happen. They broke up. They haven't spoken in 13 years. And now she's back. And obviously the attraction and the feelings are still there because both of them have been hung up about the other for the past 13 years. And it's like the second chance romance that I didn't know I needed, but it's so good. It's very good.
Love it.
I very love it. There's like I'm going to put quote unquote plot twist, which isn't really like a twist so much as like a reveal. But it was like, for me, it didn't feel like a reveal because like very early on in the book, I was like, this is the thing. This is the thing that is going to be the like climax of the story.
Yeah.
And I was right. So that was like, meh, but it was still good. It's like a contemporary romance. You can't go wrong with it. Like, unless it's bad writing, which it wasn't. So I liked it. So that is what all I read. I'm reading the third book right now, which follows the youngest Wu sister. So June and May's youngest sister, whose name you would think would be like April or something.
September.
No,
yeah.
It's Elizabeth. Her name is Elizabeth. And I'm waiting to find out why. Supposedly in this book we find out. Supposedly in this book we find out why she didn't get the same naming tradition as her sisters. So stay tuned.
Okay.
And then Beth and I watched Glass Onion for movie night, which I had already seen, but she had only recently watched Knives Out.
Talking about it.
Yeah, so she recently watched Knives Out, so we watched that, and it was just as fun the second time around. I very much enjoyed it. And to round out the Elvis week, I watched Elvis with Austin Butler.
He's
and
so handsome.
I was texting Mandy, I'm like, this man is too hot for me to pay attention to this movie. I don't. And you're right. Like I felt weird about it at first because I was like, he's a child, and I'm like, no, he's
so young.
He's our age. He's like a couple years younger than us, and I'm like, no, he looks like a child, but he's not.
In his 30s.
He is, and I was like, I feel better about
face,
this.
That voice.
Oh. He was so good. I really enjoyed it. It was great. I think at one point I texted you. I'm like, this girl who plays Priscilla is fucking hot too. Like, how am I supposed to like these people? This couple is too hot. They are too pretty for me to be focusing on a movie, but I have to focus on the movie. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. And I watched that first, and then I read 1,000 Miles to Graceland. I felt like that was a good order to do it in.
Just in the vibe.
Yeah, it was a whole. That was my whole Sunday was Elvis and Graceland. So it's very, very on brand that I am from Graceland this week.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. Is that? Did you do any more this week? That you did?
I was checking my notes. I'm like, I think that's everything. That's everything. I think.
Do you have a fictional boyfriend this week?
I do.
Is it Elvis?
It's not. Austin Butler can be my boyfriend, though.
Yeah.
But no, it is actually Wyatt Lippincott from 1,000 Miles to Graceland.
I love Wyatt.
He's Grace's childhood best friend. He is an all-around sweetheart, like the sweetest man ever. He remembers all like the little things that you think nobody notices, but just like mean so much when they do. And he's writing a freaking book.
I know. That's the thing I was gonna say. He's writing a book, and he does all of these things that she was missing from Jeff.
He's
love it.
Chef's kiss.
Love
it. Love him so much. Yes. How about you?
I'm going to say for this week, because of Scandival in the Vanderpump Rules universe, that my fictional boyfriend this week is going to be Ariana, the girl who got cheated on, because we're just team Ariana in this house. And I don't even like her that much on the show. Like, I've always thought she's kind of snotty, but she didn't deserve to be done the way that she was. And like, that's no excuse. Just because her personality is one that I don't think think I would personally vibe with, and so she's kind of
Yeah.
off-putting to me, does not mean that she deserves any of that. So
Uh,
team
ch-
Ariana.
Cheating doesn't make sense. Like, just
No.
don't be
Just
together.
just say,
Just
hey,
break up.
not a fan
Like,
of this. But yeah, so now it's like watching it back, knowing what happened in the past week has been fascinating to see. Like, so yeah, Ariana. Oh,
That's
I
fair.
forgot to say I finished the True Love Experiment.
Oh yeah.
And it's very good. And Connor Prince III is also a stand-up book boyfriend.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it was very cute. There was some things that I didn't expect to happen, but it was also very predictable because it was a love letter to the romance genre and fangirls and all of that. But I really loved it.
Yay.
So he's also a fictional boyfriend this week.
I'm gonna throw out an honorary mention to, I didn't read him this week, but Bennett O'Brien from Lunar Love.
Yep.
I was talking to Lauren after I finished Graceland, and I was like, Wyatt is like top tier book boyfriend. And she's like, I think Wyatt and Bennett would be friends. I was like, oh my God, they would be the best friends. And they
Besties.
would spend so much time complaining about their girlfriends who like are just like, what? Be better.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, they would be really good besties.
They would be besties. They would absolutely be besties. And so
now I need
forever.
a crossover.
I know, right? Oh my God, how fun would that be? I need that.
Yeah.
I need those two worlds to be like,
collide.
The same world. Like, I want them to do a book together. We should pitch that.
That would be
I
cute.
want to pitch that. We should pitch that to Kristen.
Yeah. Kristen, Lauren, know each other.
They've met. They know each other. They're both from Forever. They're actually, according to the Forever crowdcast that I was watching yesterday, there is going to be an upcoming event where both Lauren and Kristen are going to be.
Very nice.
And I'm like, yay. Yeah, they're good friends. I love them.
I was going to tell you, I picked the Starbucks cup for tonight because I was like, it's Elvis week. We're going with the glitzy. I was asking one of the twins, like, what Starbucks cup? And she was like, something cool. I can't remember what something nice. And I was like, it's Elvis week. We're going to go with glittery.
Perfect. It's perfect. Where did your money go this week?
It didn't go very far. Not really. I'm still recovering from veterinary bills. Have you gotten Illumicrate yet?
No. I just got shipping for it, but not even from Illumicrate. It just showed up on my informed delivery, so I have not gotten it yet. I know what the book is.
Have you seen the book? Can I hold it up?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Right, I just know what the book is.
So
I'm very excited about it though.
I got my fairy loot, which is City of Nightmares.
Yes. I have mine.
Very pretty. I'm going to skip showing this one. I can say the name
of the book, of Illumicrate book.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodard, I guess.
Okay.
Then we had a family dinner last weekend, and part of it was the twins' birthday, like with my family. So they got like Starbucks gift cards, and they were like, we should go to Starbucks after this and the bookstore.
Of course.
How am I supposed to say no to that? So one of them got Legos, the other one got some plushies, a penguin and a plague doctor. I got the Book of Harry from the book annex. Because I'm just gonna lean into it. I love Harry Styles. Okay,
you should.
I love the man.
Lean into it.
I also got The Sacrifice, which sounds like it takes place on the island of Kispamata, and there's like a curse that it seems like it's like Filipino legends and lore. So there's a film crew that's going to film on this island, and there's like a sinkhole that shows up like the second they land with corpses. Like it reveals like a tree with corpses all over it, and then the crew starts like seeing weird visions, and nobody can explain anything that's going on, and somebody's got to convince them like you've got to leave, like you can't. There is no documentary or TV show or anything worth what you're unearthing here. I bought it for the cover alone.
It looks great.
And that's by Rin Chupeco. And then I got Iron Widow. I need you to help me pronounce the first name though. Shiran J. Zhao.
Yeah.
So I got the J. I got the Zhao. I just wasn't sure. I don't ever want to knowingly pronounce someone's name wrong.
I know it's hard. Even for me, it's hard. I have to think about it every time. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, it's like, wait a second. So this book is about like these girls are selected as concubine pilots and they have to be paired with a man to fly these they're called chrysalises, and they're, I guess, humanity relies on them for battle, and they're fighting aliens that lurk beyond the Great Wall. And of course there's an 18-year-old girl who has a tragedy, and it feels to me like she's going to be the chosen one. Honestly,
It is so good. I cannot wait for you to read it.
I'm so excited.
It
Like,
is
again, cover alone. Look at
It
her.
is, yeah,
Just look at her.
she's amazing. It is so good, and I will say there is queer rep and there's poly rep.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's so good, and there was a
Yeah.
little bit of a twist in there that I was like, yes, I love this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's so good.
It was I fell victim to the buy one get one half off paperback sale, and so I was like, okay, these look good, because now I'm having to be more selective because I'm running out of shelf space. But I can't go in a bookstore and not buy a book. Like, that's illegal. So I look, both of them like snatched me by the cover alone.
Yeah, no, it's Iron Widow is really good, and I'm really excited for the book 2.
Yeah.
It's
called not
Heavenly Tyrant.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Sacrifice has something on here.
I'm like, now I'm thinking about the book, and I'm just like, ooh, it's so good. I can't wait for book 2. The author, they were like, I really wanted to write a book. They were like, I was a really big fan of Gundam Wing as a child, and now I kind of wrote like a Chinese mythology X Gundam Wing book, and I'm like, I love everything about this sentence.
Yes, give me all of that.
It's
immediately.
Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait for you to read it.
And then Sourcebooks Fire sent me Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. We talked about it at Y'all Fest a little bit, but it wasn't ready yet. So I'm glad I got that. And then you and I both got something.
Yes.
We got Ellie is Cool Now, and there may be something fun coming to do with Ellie is Cool Now if you keep your eyes on our socials.
Yeah, something fun may or may not be coming. Across multiple social platforms.
Yeah, so keep an eye on everything.
All the things. Yes, I'm excited to read this book.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Me too. That is where my money went. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
Where did your money go?
Oh, if I had stacked this on top of the previous skyscraper, it would have fallen. Like, it's its own skyscraper.
Oh, Lord.
Right now. I now have 2. The first thing that I do want to show is that you already showed the book for Fairy Loot, but I cannot in good conscience not show one of the items. It is like a little pouch, a pencil case that's got These Violent Delights. It's Chloe Gong, so this is obviously going on my Chloe shelf, which has run out of room. Desperately run out of room.
I opened mine, and like the pouch was on top of everything else, which normally they have like the little wormies in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going on?
I opened it and I was like, ah! And didn't move for like a good minute.
So then I'm digging and I pull out another pouch, and I'm like, one of the twins, the bookish one of the twins was standing next to me. I was like, well, here you go. She was, of course, like, ooh, pretty.
Yeah. So speaking of Chloe Gong and These Violent Delights, These Violent Delights, that's the name of the book. This is from Pango Books. It was like a little thing that popped up in occasionally I search Chloe Gong's name across selling platforms. And it is a little print of Romeo and Juliet. This was one of the sheets in the 2022 Illumicrate calendar. And of course I had to have it because look, they're so cute. Look at them. Precious. I love them. And probably my most expensive book that I own now, officially, based solely on the fact that I pay international shipping from the Netherlands.
Oh my gosh.
It's the Dutch edition of These Violent Delights. I am not going to try and pronounce the title.
Please try.
I really will not. I don't speak Dutch at all.
No, I don't either. I can't help you there.
It's so pretty. It's got sprayed and stenciled edges. It's got these beautiful end papers. Look at her. I love her.
She's gorgeous.
And then there's a hidden cover with the flower. There is a little like note from Chloe in there.
Oh my gosh. Is it in Dutch or is it in
English? No, Chloe wrote in English.
Okay, I didn't know if she like had it translated so she could write
that would
it
be
in
cool.
Dutch.
No, it's in English. It's in English. And then there's also like a little, I was flipping through pages because that's just what I do when I have like sprayed edges so they don't stick together. And I found this inside the book. I don't think it's a sticker, but it might be a sticker, but it's very pretty. So this is going on my Chloe shelf, and I can't wait to get the other one. It comes out in October, so I will once again be ordering from the Netherlands because
Oh
they're so
gosh.
pretty. They're so pretty. Yeah, it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. I have no regrets. My wallet doesn't agree with me, but I have no regrets. Okay, let's see. What is the stack? So I got my last novelty chest book, and it was Ravel by Lissamia Smith. It looks very pretty, and here are the edges. I'm so obsessed with
That
these.
is
They're so pretty.
gorgeous.
So pretty. And it came with this little envelope that had, I'm assuming this was like her pre-order incentive. So it's got little art prints.
Oh, that's
which
cute.
is so cool. I love that she
Yeah.
included that. So it's very cool. This is the like Moulin Rouge retelling. So I'm very excited. I know.
I hate that I missed that. I had paused. At the time I didn't know that she was canceling, and I had
Yeah.
paused it to like catch up on some like pay down some stuff and whatever.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I love
okay.
Moulin Rouge.
I know you do. And then I don't think I showed this. I think I got this after we recorded last time. I got a book from Hachette. It's I Will Find You by Harlan Coben. And when I showed it to you, I was like, jump scare! There's a man on the back.
Yeah, I remember that now.
I like flipped it over. I was like, oh crap.
God almighty.
It
That's
sounds really good though. It sounds really stressful.
I think his books usually are.
I've never even heard of him.
Pretty standard. You haven't?
No.
Oh my God. That's like a James Patterson level author. He's everywhere.
Really? Well,
yeah.
Now I have one of his books, so that's exciting. I will read that and I will report back. I got a couple things from Kim Tree Creative, and I forgot that I needed to show you, so I put them on my pin board already. So I'm gonna try and just point out which ones they are. So we got the house set of Nifflers. So Gryffindor, Slytherin. I had Hufflepuff already, and then Ravenclaw. And so this is the original Ravenclaw that she accidentally made way larger than the other houses.
Oh no.
So she redid it to match the size, but it's very convenient because I am a Ravenclaw. So
yeah,
now I have
I'll
two.
take an extra.
I'll take it. And then this is a Hobbit door. It's a Valentine's Day themed Hobbit door. It says "Be Mine" on there. And then I think the other one was these Lunar New Year ones. So this one is the year of the rabbit, and if you turn it, like you can see the rabbit is hopping. And this one's the year of the tiger, and then the year of the ox. So the last 3 years.
Very cute.
And these are all my Kimchi Creative pins. They're mostly Nifflers, but that's very on brand for me.
They're very cute.
I have been wanting this book for a while. I saw it in the Fairy Loot Facebook group, and it was before we got subscribed to Fairy Loot, and I never thought that I would get it because it was like a shit ton of money.
Sought after ones.
Yeah, but I did. It's The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea.
Oh, God, that one was so pretty.
It's so pretty. And I was just resigned. I was like, I'm never going to get it. But here it is. I got it. I love it so much. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I can't.
That's how I feel about the Illumicrate Atlas 6. Like,
oh, I know. It's so pretty.
But it's like $400.
Never. Speaking of super, super pretty books, I am obsessed. I got my copies of The Priory of the Orange Tree and A Day of Fallen Night from the Broken Binding.
Show me.
And so I've got both books.
Why does it look so small?
It's not.
It looks so thin. Okay, maybe it was just that they're both together.
Together they look
like normal size books because just two books together. Yeah. I was like, that looks very small for the orange.
They are
wait, when you show the edges.
Hold on. You ready? Look at this.
Gorgeous.
They're so freaking pretty.
Gorgeous.
And they've got end pages. And
very oh, that's pretty.
It's
the naked cover.
Gorgeous. The naked cover is so pretty. And then, of course, A Day of Fallen Night is in blue.
Beautiful.
I can't. It's so pretty. I'm obsessed. Like, the second that these went up for pre-sale. And it was funny because Broken Binding was like, we've never sold out on the first day. Few hours later, they were sold out. I was like, there's no way I'm waiting on this. Like, y'all can try and believe that malarkey if you want, but I am checking out.
Couldn't be me.
Not me. Not at all. And then, looking at my notes. Okay. I got some more pins from 100% Soft. And I talked about these a while back, but I didn't show them, and I meant to post pictures pictures of them, and then I never did because I'm the worst. But here are the She-Hulk pins with the kissy faces. They're so cute.
Yeah, I remember you talking about those. Those are cute.
And then they just released their Quantumania pins. So we've got Cassie and a giant Ant-Man. See, he's much larger than Cassie. And we've got the Wasp, who we don't love, but I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
And then we've got Kang, who looks menacing, and MODOK. Freaking love MODOK. So I got those, and then I was at Linden Tree for the book event, and obviously I bought a copy of It's Boba Time for Pearl Lee. I bought a copy for me and one for my daughter.
Good.
They're both signed and personalized. She was gonna throw a fit if I did not get her own, so obviously I got her own. They actually sold out of every single book that they bought for the event.
Good.
And I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think part of it is because everybody's really excited about the book, and part of it is Nicole's a local author, so she has a lot of friends as well.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting gifts because you can get them signed. There were a lot of kids there, and there were actually quite a few teenagers too, which was really exciting. I was like, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool. But while I was at Linden Tree, I caught up with my friend Grace, who we love here.
We stand Grace.
We stand Grace. And she was like, I went looking for my ARCs of Chloe's adult debut, and somehow all of my copies seem to have disappeared. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay, you know, because she was away at like a book festival or something. And I was like, actually, do you have Robbie's newest one? And she was like, I think so. Either I have it or I just saw it at the book festival. There were a lot of ARCs. We'll check later. And so at the end of the event, we're getting ready to leave, and she like flags me down. She's like, hey, what was the name of that book? And I was like, oh, it's If I See You Again Tomorrow. And she's like, okay, let me go look. And I was like, and if there's anything else you want to like, just, you know, let me have. She's like,
you want to get rid of anything.
She's like, come with me. Here's the shelf. Go crazy. And I was like, ma'am, you have no idea what you unleashed.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
She threatened me with a good time, and I had one. So I got an Arc of the Jump by Brittany Morris. This is already out. It came out on the 7th.
That came out recently.
It sounds really good. This has been on my list for a little while, so I'm excited to dig into that. And then I have the digital of this, but I really wanted the paperback. I got an Arc of Damsel by Evelyn Skye.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. The book is based on the Netflix movie that is coming. So they wrote a screenplay, they made the movie, and then they're like, actually, can we get like an author to write a book about this world?
Netflix didn't do it, but they did that with Crimson Peak.
Oh, okay.
The book came after the movie.
Yeah, so this is a companion piece to the movie. Let's say that.
Very cool.
So this comes out on, I think, the March 14th.
On the spine, yeah,
March 14th. So by the time this episode is out, this book will be out. But I'm very excited to read about it. So it's kind of like a twist on the whole damsel in distress like trope, where this girl goes, how do I explain it? So this girl, her kingdom is like dying, and then she gets a marriage proposal from a much richer kingdom, and she's like, I'll do anything to save my kingdom. And so she goes and she gets married, and she's like, you know, we can fall in love, whatever. But then it turns out that the reason that this kingdom is so prosperous is because they struck a deal with a dragon, that all of the royal daughters would get sacrificed, like 3 each year. And they have been getting around sacrificing their own daughters, because if you marry into the family, you're now a royal daughter. And they do this like thing. So she is the next one to be sacrificed, but girl's not going down without a fight.
She's like, no, I'm not, bitches.
She's like, no, ma'am. So I'm very excited to read that. And then I apologize to you for this one, but I got an Arc of Forget Me Not by Allison Derrick. I think, is this her solo debut?
Yeah.
I think it's her solo debut.
Damn it, Simon Teen. My bestie from here and I were supposed to get copies of that too, and they gave ours away at Y'all Fest, and now they don't respond to their DMs where I'm like, hey, remember my name you took down and my address you took down? Yeah, I never got it. Thanks.
Sad.
Okay.
So I apologize, but I'm very excited to read the book.
I want you to have all the books.
I saw Natalie Naudis is the audiobook narrator of this book, and she posted a reel on Instagram where she was like, I'm crying reading this book. Like, y'all need to go read it. It's like, so I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have my heart broken. And then and you tried to tell me to read this book, and you're like, I can't read it because it's not out yet, but now I can because it's Queen Bee.
I'm so excited for you to read Queen Bee. It's so good.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. So I got
salacious drama
of that. And of course, the one I went in for, If I See You Again Tomorrow, I messaged Robbie immediately afterward. I'm like, Robbie, I got a physical copy, no more eye strain, so I can read it. And he was like, yay, just say no to eye strain. I'm like, I know, right?
Yeah, the worst.
And then the last one I got is one that I've been anticipating. It's called Sunshine Nails, and it's by Mai Nguyen. And it's a story of like Vietnamese refugees who have it's kind of like You've Got Mail vibes-ish, where they own like a Vietnamese nail salon, and then another one opens across the street, and they battle it out kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. So
very cool.
That was my Linden Tree haul. I'm very excited. I can't wait to read all of these. And that sound means we have an intruder alert.
Intruder!
This week we're very excited to have debut author Kristen May Chase. She is the author of 1,000 Miles to Graceland. Kristen, welcome. It is so awesome to have you here.
I don't think I've ever been an intruder before, so thank you for that. First debut author, debut intruder. I mean,
I love it.
Any better.
That's perfect. So for anybody who, we ask this of all of our authors, give us like the elevator pitch of the book. For anybody who somehow has not heard of it, pitch it to them, convince them to read it.
Oh, no pressure.
None at all.
So it is a super epic, heartfelt, fun road trip between a mother and a daughter who decide to drive from El Paso, Texas, all the way to Memphis, Tennessee to see Graceland. And the daughter has had some stuff happen in her life, and the mom is super obsessed with Elvis, and they don't really get along. And so what better way to work out your problems than with like a bazillion hour road trip over the course of 2 weeks across the South?
I have to say, it's great. I read it, and I don't know if I told you or if I was talking to Lauren Kung Jason, but I was like, this book was like therapy for me. Like, it's like I am a fellow mother or child of a Chinese mother survivor. Like, I relate so hard to it. I just hugged the book when I was done. It was great.
Well, you told me that, and I'm very grateful to, I'm grateful to hear that. It's interesting, when you write a book, especially like I did, which was kind of in a vacuum. I know there are a lot of writers who are like, you person over there, read my draft. I'm not like that. And so, of course, my agent read it, and then my editor read it, and, to have it out in the world and to see how people are responding. And in particular, that is what I'm hearing, is that people are like, oh, I should call my mom, or I'm really thinking about my relationship with my mom, or, oh, it was really therapeutic. And I don't know, I guess I was kind of in the weeds with it to not really think about it in that way, but it makes me super happy to hear. I am so happy that you cried. No, I'm kidding.
No, I feel like that's a good thing to be happy about, though. Yeah. Like somebody having an emotional reaction to something that you've written. I think that means that you've done your job.
Yay, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It's incredibly nostalgic for me too, because so every Friday night my entire childhood I stayed with my grandmother, who was a raging Elvis lunatic. Like, so much so that he passed away on my uncle's 8th birthday, and she locked herself in the bathroom for a week and like wouldn't talk to anybody. She was like so depressed. And so like my whole childhood was like, she had a 6-foot tall Elvis statue in the living room, and like she had like
wait, Laura Lynn, are you sure that you're not related to my characters?
I know. And so I'm reading it, and I'm like, she had like a velvet painting of him, and it was 3 iterations of him. So one was like young Elvis, one was like super popular, and then the other had like a tear rolling down his cheek. So like most of my teenage years, it was like, I want nothing to do with Elvis if I have to see one more thing, because she was such a fangirl. But like now that I've been removed from it a little bit, now I'm like, okay, she might have she's talking about a little bit.
Well, that's so interesting because the way that you described your annoyance is really how my character Grace felt too. And
it was so relatable.
You're just like, oh my gosh, can you please stop with all of this? And what's so fascinating is that I have heard from a fair amount of people who became Elvis fans, or I don't know, like Elvis nostalgic people is what I wouldn't call you an Elvis fan, right? But you're like nostalgic for it.
I can be a fan now.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So because of their grandmother.
Yeah.
And it drew them closer. And their mother-daughters at my book signing when the book launched back in January. First of all, I thought it was only going to be people that were related to me or who I birthed. I know those people are also related to me, but I'm saying I didn't think anyone that I didn't know was going to come. And I had this whole like the things I learned from writing a novel that you can apply to your own life. I wasn't even going to really talk about the book because everyone's so sick of hearing about it. And when I got there, 2/3 of the people I didn't know, and they were all Elvis fans, and they were all there with their mothers. And it was
amazing.
Yeah, it was so fascinating. I was like, oh, I guess I have to talk about the book. And it was mothers and daughters. The mothers or grandmothers were fans, but also new fans because of the movie.
Yeah.
Listen, that man,
that movie.
So pretty.
That man is very pretty. I watched, so this weekend I watched the movie and then I immediately went into reading Graceland and I was like, this is the perfect Sunday. This is an excellent Sunday. I'm getting an edge because my mother is an immigrant. So she came across the sea. She has no idea who Elvis is. So growing up, I mean, I had heard the name, but I didn't know anything about Elvis. So it was like, I got a crash course this weekend in like the best possible way with Austin Butler as Elvis and then reading about Grace and Laurelyn's like drive and her love of Elvis. It was the best kind of like Sunday. That's all I could ask for.
You got a total crash course in it because you know the book has a bunch of the most famous spots and stops. And then you had the movie, and so it was really fun. I wrote the book using Google Earth, so I hadn't done the road trip. But then after I got an agent and we were editing the book, I did actually do the road trip during the summer of 2020. Yeah, and they had just reopened Tupelo, his birthplace, because of COVID. And so I drove across Texas in a convertible.
Oh, that's amazing. Was it
cool.
It wasn't a purple convertible though, right?
No, it was a black convertible, but it was a Mustang. And let me tell you, I'm like Grace. I'm like, why does anyone want a convertible? Because if you get in a crash, like your head's going to get chopped off. Like there's whole things that happen as an anxious person, but I had so much fun. Oh my gosh. I lost my voice because I was singing so loud. I had the top down. I was like scream singing the whole way. People probably were like, what is happening? You can drive super fast in Texas too. I don't know if you knew this. It's like 85 or something crazy on the highway. I know. It was just like, it was like a midlife reawakening or something.
Yeah, we didn't do a road trip like that, but my grandmother, she and my grandfather are divorced. So her husband in his younger days was an Elvis lookalike. Like it went that far.
Whoa.
And so he was a super fan too. I'll have to send you pictures. But when I was probably 12 or 13, we drove from Central Georgia and we went through Tupelo and then we went to Memphis and to Graceland. And it was cool. At the time I was trying to be angsty about it, but I found a photo very recently, like 2 or 3 days ago, of me and my sister and my little cousin. They have like the sidewalk where you can write like messages in Sharpie, and one of us is holding a Sharpie, and we look like the most 90s girl band ever, and it is epic. But I remember going through Tupelo, going through the little tiny house where he was born.
Yes, shotgun. They call it a shotgun house.
Yeah,
because if
little bitty,
you can shoot a bullet would go right through the house.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
What they call it. Yeah, I had never been. I lived in Mississippi for about 4 years, actually. I was a college professor, and I used to go to Tupelo to go to the mall because that's the closest mall that there was to where I was living. But I never went to Elvis's birthplace, so it was a new experience. When I drove through, it was super fun. It was June and it was blazing hot. Don't drive through Texas in a convertible with shorts on because you're going to get a sunburn.
Oh yeah.
Especially a black convertible. That's like
I
sucks
know.
the UV.
And I didn't want to close the top because I was like, I am driving a convertible. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
You know, like you have to.
And then your legs are like, close the top.
Yeah, close. Yeah. And I stopped in Odessa, which is, you know, that's where there's like a little second chance love situation that happens. And I stopped in Odessa to get lunch and drive around. And I had jean shorts on, shorter shorts, I don't know, whatever. And I got out of the car and I was putting stuff in the trunk. And these two women came up to me and they were like, oh, honey, I love your car. Also, your bottom's hanging out. And I was like, well, thank you.
That is the most like, Southern old lady thing I have ever heard.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Did you know, honey?
Did you know?
Bless your heart.
Yep. Oh, for real. Your bottom's hanging out. And I was like, thank you.
Oh my God.
Does it look good though?
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
All we need to know.
That's all I care about. So, Kristen, so this is your first book. It's your first fiction writing, but you have done quite a bit of nonfiction writing for like articles and stuff. So what was like the transition like going from nonfiction writing to fiction?
The transition was a little tricky, I have to say, because, and I think it was especially tricky because a lot of the things in my book did like some of them happened, meaning, you know, the Johnny's drive-in is an actual place. Like there were actual places. The hospital is an actual place. And so I think that if it had been a book that was completely fictional, it would probably have been a little easier for me to kind of separate out. But the fact that there were still real things made it very challenging because when you write nonfiction, you really want to be accurate, right? You're telling a story that has actually happened in a place and you want to be descriptive of that place. And so translating that into fiction, it's really hard. In fact, some of the easiest scenes, and I think some of the best scenes, were scenes that nothing had ever happened. It was completely made up. And I had never experienced it. So it was all new and fresh in my mind. But, I had been to Tupelo to go see the house. And, there was a woman there who was a guide. And then I was like, well, do I need to use her name? Does she need to have an Elvis shirt like she had? There were all these things going through my mind that I wanted to be accurate about. And then, during the edits, I was like, wait a second, this is fiction. So even if it's a real thing, I obviously wanted to do justice to the Elvis things. I couldn't mess that up, but the people and the experiences, I could do whatever I wanted. And then it became more freeing for me. And I think it came together better, but initially it was a little tricky.
I never thought of it like that, but that makes a lot of sense because it's like, yeah, you want to do it justice and do it right, essentially, but you're also kind of just making it up. Right. So that's yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, Karin. So the haunted house is real. It is a real place. And I found it on Google Earth because it is perfectly positioned right after Dallas, between Dallas and Odessa. It is there. And I went there and it was daytime and it was June and it was across from a cow farm. And it was the weirdest, coolest place. And I was like, okay, well, do I have to describe it exactly as it is? Do I need to talk about the guy who wouldn't let us in? And, there's all those things that come into play. Whereas, for instance, the bar scene at the Homestead Hotel, that doesn't exist. Sorry, I liked it, but it doesn't exist. Homestead Hotel and the bar, they're not real. And so I could do whatever I wanted, right? I didn't have any sort of idea of how it was in my mind. So I think it's also a good thing for writers to think about. It's really cool that it was a road trip that happened. And I know lots of writers do historical fiction or places that actually had things happen. But I think in some ways you want to make sure that you allow yourself to be free and creative.
That's such good advice.
That is really cool. Karin, I was going to say, you probably haven't seen this then, because in the movie you see Graceland and it's fields and land and lots of stuff. Now there's a major road that's just right in front of it. And there's I don't remember exactly because it's been 20 years, but the Heartbreak Hotel is here. And then the airplane is here. And it's a huge commercial area now. Whereas what you see in the movie, it's it's in the middle of nowhere. And now it's right on a road.
It's really right on a road. And you haven't been in a while, have you?
No, I was probably 12. So it's been 20 years at least.
Okay. And that's the first time that I went to was back then, in the late late 90s.
Yeah.
And it's completely changed since then. So I had written the book based on our probably experience, right? Like you go and you walk up and it's just like you go to the door and you walk in right to Graceland.
Right.
It's
You
like,
do the tour.
well, now there's like a bus. So like you have to take a bus over to Graceland. Yeah, there's like a huge, like kind of Disneylandish, like there's shops and restaurants and yeah, it's even more like commercial, not a bad way, but like it's different. And so
busy.
Yeah, thank goodness I went, because the last time I went, we just walked right up to the house. But this time you don't. You take a bus over and they have like an audio thing that happens in the bus, and then you get to, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Even before like the movie came out and your book, I've been talking to my husband because I don't think he's ever been to Memphis. And so I'm like, listen, even if you're not like getting an Elvis tattoo on your chest, like it's somewhere you have to go. Like if not for the Elvis stuff, you have to go to Graceland. You have to walk through the Lisa Marie, all of that. You also have to go for the food. You got to go for some barbecue.
Yes, you
like,
do. You got to go to Beale Street. Yeah. Like I saw BB King when I was there 20 years ago.
Oh
like I did. Yeah. So
gosh.
I was teaching college in Mississippi, and it was actually the drive down to Mississippi from Michigan. That's where I was living. And we went to Memphis, we went to Beale Street, we saw BB King, and then we went to Graceland. And yeah, you have to do it. I think it's just one of those, like, it's like you got to go to Vegas at least once, right? Like even if you're not a gambler, I just feel like Vegas is a place to see. You have to go. You got to go to Memphis.
That maybe that'll be
sure.
one of our trips in the next year or two, like because it's not like a super out of the question drive for us in Central Georgia. Like so,
yeah, that's true.
And he doesn't mind driving, and neither do I. I'll put in an audiobook, and I'm gold. So yeah, I need to like make sure that that's at the top of our list because it's kind of a travesty that he's never been.
And it's such a fun tour.
Yeah, it is. Even and like I said, I was angsty at the time because it was like she's such a super fan, and it's embarrassing, especially when her husband is here in a powder blue leisure suit and the hair all done up, and I'm mortified because I'm like, oh my gosh, that boy over there looks like he's 16 and he's cute, and I'm so embarrassed. But even having that angst, it was still a cool experience. Like we stayed in the Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, like you did. You did it up. You did it up. So Karin, they have like an audio tour through the whole thing, and it's so cool. It's really well done, and it's like Priscilla, and like she talks through all the rooms, so you really get like the inside scoop on everything. I found it to be very well done. It's like one of the best tours that I've been on. They do like, and people are like, oh, an audio tour. It's so good. It's so interesting. Yeah.
Even with how long it's been, I remember it being fun.
I was going to say the next time I'm out in Georgia, Mandy, that should be part of our plan.
Yeah.
We should drive out. Do it together.
It's like an 8 to 10 hour drive, but
let's drive into Disneyland for me.
Yeah.
There you go. Come on now.
Yeah,
I'm from California. Driving 8 hours means nothing.
I know. And that's only going like 12 miles.
Right. Fair.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So I want to know, like, what gave you the idea for this book? Like, are you like a major Elvis super fan, or do you know someone who is, or you just decided?
I am now. I mean, I have the Elvis lightning bolt on my arm. I know it's not really clear. I got it done actually on the road trip. I was like, I have to get a tattoo on the road trip. So I got it done in Dallas. So, what's interesting is that I can't really remember exactly why I chose Elvis. It wasn't the movie. I mean, I started writing it so long ago. There wasn't a movie. No one in my family loved Elvis. I didn't really love Elvis. I just think it was this idea of, I felt like, and you know firsthand, right? Like people are just, his fans are like so loyal and so rabid, in not a bad way, but just really obsessed. And the idea of a woman who was, in her senior years, right? Seasoned, as we will say, or seasoned lady who just like really didn't care what people thought, and like was just dressed super sexy and like wore crazy wigs, and it was just like just loved it so much that it kind of took over her life. I don't know. That's just such an interesting character to write. And so I don't know how it started, but certainly it was something that stuck with me because I have been writing this book for almost, over 10 years. And I just kept coming back to it, even when it frustrated me. And even when I was like, what am I doing with this? I just think that character and the idea and really what Elvis represents, right? Like Americana and like being American to, a woman who just felt so out of place, right? And felt so ostracized for being Chinese in America. Like I just kind of loved that juxtaposition. I wanted another tattoo. So no, I'm kidding.
Look, the
That's
lightning
a good enough
bolt.
answer.
My other grandparents are also Elvis fans, and they have like a sticker of the lightning bolt on their car. And then when the movie came out, like you have the lightning bolt with the TCB, and my husband was like, "What is TCB?" And I'm like, "Joshua, it's taking care of business. What do you mean what's the TCB?" And I didn't even know I was passionate about that knowledge. But it was
Come on, man.
Come on, get with it.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's funny because when I was trying to get an agent, I had so many agents tell me that Elvis was like obsolete, like no one cared about Elvis.
No, he's not.
And it was so interesting because the movie was coming out. Like we knew the movie was coming. At the time I was pitching the book, to an agent. We knew the movie was coming. And I think I have to say this. I always believed that the movie would make Elvis fans like more Elvis-y, right? Like they'd be like, "Oh, I love Elvis even more than I already did." But I am so surprised, and I think a lot of people are, how many new fans the movie made. Yep. And a lot of younger fans came into the fold just because of the movie. And I think that's so exciting. Like I was signing books at my local Barnes and Noble, and this guy was sort of like, because he heard me talking and he was kind of like lurking around like the center, the info's desk. And after I signed, he came up to me and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I heard about your book." He's like, "My girlfriend and I, we're going to Graceland next week." And they were like, I don't know, 20. He looked like he was like 24, 25. And I'm like, yeah, we knew the movie was going to do something. I mean, it was a Baz Luhrmann movie. The music mixes were so hip and cool. Yeah. It's really not surprising.
It was a whole
that
production, happened. But so was Elvis.
Yes. I mean, if any, people have varying feelings about the movie, but you could not be entertained, right? Like it was very entertaining. The music I thought was so cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I think, there was a lot of people, I think, left with empathy at varying levels about his experience and his life, so.
It also helped that Elvis and Priscilla were really hot.
That's true.
They were both incredibly hot.
I never, even growing up, I always just thought like he was just a drug addict, like he just chose. And I never really considered the fact that maybe he was being fed things at first that he didn't even know about, and it gives you that empathy.
Yeah.
To like, But I want to go back to something you said. People said that Elvis is obsolete. The man's been dead for 40 years, 50 years, and they still know who he is. They still know his name. They're still talking about him. So like, is he obsolete though? Like,
I know. I don't know if it was a thing of like, I don't know. We can talk about like the ins and outs of like getting an agent and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there is a point where people just want to be nice. Like they don't want to, like, it's like, well, that's an easy way to say no, right? Like that's an easy way to just be like, no, thank you. No one cares about Elvis, and totally fine. My feeling is you probably should have come up with a different answer because that is not true.
Right. Like, exactly.
Like it's fine. You don't like, like women's fiction isn't your jam or whatever it was. And, when I was pitching the book, it still needed a fair amount of work. I mean, when I got my agent, I ended up editing it for like a whole another year. Right. So like it still needed a lot of work. So it wasn't like I was sending it off to people and being like, this is like a masterpiece.
The
and,
next
like
great American novel.
Yes, this is it. I knew that it needed work, but in this publishing day and age, they're really looking for, and they got to make money, right? So they want to find something that's like ready to go. Like, can I just do a quick edit on this and get it out the door? So I was super fortunate to find my agent who really fell in love with Laura Lynn. Like she told me, she's like, I just love women, senior women who dress like, and I want to say too young because I disagree with that statement, but that's what people say, right? They dress too young for their age. She's like, who are sassy. She's like, I'm just drawn to those characters. So we were a match made in Graceland, and she read it. She's like, oh yes, for sure. I want this. And so it all worked out for the best. But there were some people, some naysayers. They should have come to my book signing with all the people. Yeah. People were bringing me like, I don't have them on my desk, but they brought me like Elvis scrunchies. I got an Elvis bobblehead keychain. I mean, look, I have my own Elvis bobblehead.
That is so cute.
Yeah. own Elvis bobblehead. So, you know, I bought that at Graceland, but people brought me stuff. Like, it's a thing. Elvis, the Elvis thing is a thing.
Still an empire.
For real. Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to know so I know you've said in the past that Grace and Laura Lynn's relationship and the characters, as they're not stand-ins for you and your mom, but were there any characters that you really like felt represented you, or were there any characters that you kind of modeled after people in your own life?
Yes.
End of sentence.
I cannot tell. No, I mean, Grace. Okay, so here's what happened. Like, I started writing this and I was like, oh, it's going to be this, you know, this story of the relationship, right? Because I had never written fiction. I'm like, it's not about who's the protagonist. Like, is the relationship the protagonist? Like, that doesn't really work. It's not really Laura Lynn. So really it's Grace. And I'm like, okay, well, for mom's 70, she's 40 something. And it just started to like become increasingly more personal. It was like, oh, and you know, I wrote it over the course of 10 years. A lot happened in my life. You know, I got divorced. I got divorced twice actually during that time because I don't know, I'm trying to win at divorces. I'm not sure. But you know, a lot happened in my life and like relationship wise. And in particular, I think that influenced the book a lot, but also just my own personal journey. And in the edits, the most recent edits, right, with my agent and then with my editor, I have to say, I was writing a story arc for a character who was like me, who was trying to be authentic in her life and be vulnerable and build back this relationship with her mother. And I was not doing that in my own life. And I was like, this feels really disingenuous. Like, I'm writing this character, but like, I am kind of in denial about it. And so like Grace was here and I was here. And certainly over the course of the last few years, it became very parallel for sure. You know, my mom is not at all like Laura Lynn, like at all. And so, you know, Audrey is her name. She's like, you know, that is not at all like that. And there's no Wyatt, you know, but you can kind of tell it's kind of funny. Like, I started dating someone in the like after I got an agent during the edit. So like their moments got a little like, I don't want to say sexier, but just like a little, it's very sweet, right? Because it's new. Yeah. It's like, so, I mean, I think that influenced it a little bit. It was also interesting because I have like a gaggle of children, right? Like I have 4 kids and Grace has no children. And, you know, no one really talks about that, but like, I'm so down that like, there's a character like who's in her, like, she's like in her early 40s and doesn't have kids.
Yes.
I was going to say, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I love my future. Like I'm married and I hope to stay that way. But like, I really appreciated seeing like a 40 something because most books, she's 18 and he's 500 and, you know, like, so it was cool to see someone who wasn't a teenager.
Yes,
be the
not a teenager,
character.
like another seasoned woman, like in her 40s. Yeah. You know, the whole thing was like, life's not over. Like people say like 40 is midlife and like you're over the hill. And like, that's kind of funny when you're 22, but like when you're in your 40s, that's like horrifying. You're like, what are you talking about? You're closer to the end. And so I just wanted to express that. And I think especially for Laura Lynn too, like Laura Lynn has a love interest as well. And I know a lot of people who have read it and like, you know, in that age bracket are like, thank you. Like, we're not dead. Like, we like to go out and like, we like to like do stuff. And, you know, now, like, I think of myself now, like I'm in my late 40s, I guess you could say at this point. I'm 46. I'm going to be 47. So that's kind of late 40s. Like, I think about being 60 and like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be down for like, you know what I mean? Like, why would that stop? So I think it's nice. Again, it's representation in as many ways as possible, right? Like with mixed race Asian Americans, but also like age as well. It's so important to read.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the books that I was going to say, just a lot of the books that, I mean, I find myself reading we don't get like characters who are later in their life. Like we don't get the Laura Lynns. We don't get people in their 40s. A lot of times we see people who are more 20s, 30s, teenagers. Like that seems to be the niche like of publishing. And it's like, no, it's good to have this representation. Right. So I loved everything about it. I loved see like, I mean, we're in our 30s, we're in our early 30s, but it was just like, for me, it was like, this is awesome. Like she's in her 40s and she's living life. Like,
what she wants.
You know, I mean, there's that whole thing with Jeff, but like she's living life. Yeah. And Laura Lynn,
Yeah, totally live in it.
I want to be in my Laurelin era. That's where I want to be. Like,
I do too. And you know, it's so funny. I wrote it, and you know, I have like a leopard print, and I have the big pink shoes. Like I totally channel Laurelin if I've done any appearances, right? And I just recently I was like, what? Why am I saving shirts? Like what? Like I don't know if you do that. Like I buy nice things, and then I'm like, I don't really wear them very often.
Yeah, you
like
just
you know,
hoard
like
it.
you just I know. And then I was like why am I not changing my earrings? Like why like why don't I wear some big earrings? Like
yeah.
and I just want to have a little more fun. I feel like, especially, I don't know, like after like the whatever we want to call it, post pandemic, it feels, you know, wherever we are, I think it's been very heavy for the last few years. It's been very difficult. And I think, you know, for me in my 40s, I have almost 4 teenagers. I have a tween and 3 teenagers. And it's exhausting. It's equally exhilarating as it is terrifying, right? And you find yourself, I'm a single mom, right? And I find myself like I'm driving everyone everywhere. I'm like working my butt off so that like, cause we have college coming up, and I'm like, what? Like what, but where's the fun? Like, why are we not having fun? We need to have some fun, you know? And so I don't know. Like I just recently, like just after, I mean, it's been the last couple months, I think the book was coming out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna channel Laurel in here. Like she really knew what she was doing. So, you know, I try. I think it's
really
important.
love that.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to tell you guys and this doesn't even have to go in the episode if it doesn't need to, but it's just a funny aside. There is this area of Florida called the Villages. Have you heard of it?
No, so we're in Florida.
It's just above Orlando. So like an hour above Orlando. And it's like it's meant to be kind of a retirement area. It's like it's huge. Okay. But it's very Stepford. If you like go into it, I've eaten at a Panera there, and it's very like everything is pristine, but it's like a bunch of older people. But they have this thing going, and it's like the best kept secret that's like made its way to TikTok now, where these old people, these 70s and 80s and 90-year-olds, if they put a loofah, like a bath loofah on their car or their doorknob.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, keep living your life, guys.
For real.
Do it. Yes.
Hey, it doesn't stop. And
we're not dead.
No. And I think more and more, I think as you get closer to that age, you realize like I'm in my 40s, like I go to the gym. Okay. I go to the gym. I used to be a ballet dancer. I used to work out. I used to run. Things are harder than they were. But you in your mind, you still think you're like, oh yeah, I can do like squats. Like that's no problem. Like it doesn't change up here. And I think people, I wish that we did more. We knew that more and really embraced that more and understood that. And to me, that's why I have so much respect for, you know, our senior citizens and ancestors and people who have lived life, because it's not like they don't remember how it was. And it's not like they don't feel like we do. It's just that like this is what happens to our bodies, right? Like this is what happens. But I'm going to add to your funny aside. I'm going to aside your aside. Okay. I used to work in a nursing home as a music therapist way, way, way back. And there was a couple, and we'll call them Jane and Bob. And Bob was in a wheelchair and had pretty severe dementia. Oh, it was Mary. I remember it was Mary. And Mary would roll him around, and they both were not doing well. And they both lived in the nursing home, and they were able to have a room together because they were married. And then there was a gentleman named Martin who was in a wheelchair, and he would just kind of wheel himself around. And Martin had the attached room to Mary and Bob. So the next day I come into work and Martin is walking. I'm like, Martin, what's up? You don't need a wheelchair anymore? He's like walking, and I go to the staff and I'm like, what happened to Martin? And they're like, Mary went in the wrong room last night. Legit. Completely legit. Mary went in the wrong room, and now Martin doesn't need a wheelchair anymore.
My Mary.
So it ain't over till it's over. You know what I mean?
Oh
it
my
ain't
God.
over till it's over.
I love it. That's amazing.
Mary, you're our queen.
Mary, I know. It was just so funny. Like, can you imagine like you see someone every day in a wheelchair, and then you're just like, he's suddenly like walking? I mean, it's like miraculous. Yeah. Meanwhile, that's a call for all of us to, you know, doing the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Keep it going. Yeah. Keep it going. I love that so much.
That's amazing. That's the best story. I think that's the best story we've ever had on the
Yeah,
podcast.
for sure.
So Marion Martin. Anyway, go ahead.
we have a question that we ask everyone who comes on the podcast. And this is the moment where you immediately forget everything you've ever read, seen, thought about.
Okay.
We have a segment called Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, and it doesn't have to be a boyfriend. It could be a girlfriend, non-binary friend, anybody.
Okay.
In fiction, could be book, movie, whatever, that you're like, that is my chef's kiss. Love this person. If I could make you real, do you have like a fictional boyfriend of the week that you want to share with the class?
I do, but it's so cliche. But like, I don't know, man. I'm a Mr. Darcy fan.
Listen, there is not a thing wrong with that.
Okay,
nothing's wrong with that.
Okay, can we just talk just for a minute about the movie? Okay, so like, do you watch Succession?
Neither haven't.
Oh,
not yet.
Okay. Well, Mr. Darcy in the movie with Keira Knightley, which we've seen, he's in Succession. He has come back to us.
Bumping that up my list now.
Okay, but hold,
Oh, no.
because his character is like sort of like, he plays it very well, but he's like weird and sneaky and like a little like passive, and you're just like, oh no, like this is what is happening. Like you probably wouldn't recognize him, but I have to say, like, some people don't like Mr. Darcy in that movie. Some people like the Colin Firth BBC Mr. Darcy. So I want to hear from you all, Mr. Darcy overall love, but like, what are your thoughts? Are we cool with I don't forget his name now, unfortunately, but
I've forgotten his name,
but Keira Knightley, or do we like Colin Firth? Like, where do we stand on Mr. Darcy in a movie?
Mandy has very strong opinions.
Okay, I want to hear this.
I am team Handflex for the rest of my days because I was like 15 when the movie came out, so it was like an awakening of sorts when he helps her up into the carriage, and then the Handflex afterwards, like no notes, no questions, concerns, comments, that is it. And so this one came at me with the Colin Firth, and I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's an old man.
I don't like that one.
Not an old man, but
yeah, it's weird.
I
don't like it.
I do a movie night with one of my really good friends every week, and she is a huge like Jane Austen fan. Loves like period pieces and things like that. And so there was a point where we watched the BBC miniseries with Colin Firth, and we watched that, and then I think later either we watched it together or I watched it on my own afterwards. I watched the 2005 version with Keira Knightley, and I enjoyed both of them. The miniseries was more accurate to the book.
Oh, look at you.
Obviously, but but the 2005 version was
that chest hair.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I have to say, and the when he's like breathless, he's like in the when they meet in the morning
sweeping across the field.
Yeah, and his cape. Because whatever it
dead. Yeah. I was dead.
Yeah. It's so good.
So many times.
That is a movie that like if it is anywhere, I will watch it. It is my whoopee. It is my whoopee. Like I'm like, I need Pride and Prejudice.
Give me that. Give me that right now.
That.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cliche, but whatever,
No,
it's a cliche for a reason because it's good. It's
popular.
A good one.
Good.
Yeah, there's a reason it's popular. Yeah. I will say my fictional boyfriend for this week, and we did the segment before you came on, is Wyatt.
Yeah, we're big fans.
We're big fans. We we have something to pitch to you.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So we were talking about Wyatt, and I had a conversation with Lauren. I was like, Wyatt is just like God's here, excellent book boyfriend. And we were having a conversation where we're like, Wyatt and Bennett would be like best friends.
Oh,
and they would like
100%.
They would hang out all the time.
We need a buddy.
Yes. We need you guys to come together and write a story.
Yes.
We're their besties.
Oh my gosh.
We're their besties.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be so? Don't you love when people do that?
I love it so much.
I'm trying to see where this book is. So I bought this winter. I mean, it's probably over by my bed. It was a romance trio, and it was John Green. No, John. Wait, hold on. I'm terrible with names. So, Fault of Our Stars. Who's
John
that?
Green.
John Green. Okay. And then Maureen writes a lot of romance. She's British, I think, maybe. I don't know. Anyway,
no.
this is what I do. Okay. It's a 3-part romance, YA, and it's the same snowstorm, but they like all weave together, right? Like, so yes, it's so good.
I love this.
Yes, I have to find it, but I'll send it to you. And I read the first
please.
story and I was like, it's fine. I love John. I think John Green is fantastic.
Yeah,
I just love the way he writes teenagers. I think it's like chef's kiss. So then you're like, oh, there's a Waffle House, the train, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the next book, or like, and they were like in one book. So they're kind of like novellas, right? And the next one, they're like talking about going to the Waffle House. That the one was, I was like, oh my God,
a second.
they're connected. It's so great. So yeah, we should totally do that. And can I just tell you, I was told early that Wyatt and Grace moved too fast because I had them doing a little more than maybe they were supposed to. In fact, he wasn't her friend in high school originally. I did that so that it could move faster because everyone was like, that's too fast. Like they wouldn't touch each other. And I'm like, girl, she's in her 40s. She does not have time to waste.
Also, have you ever read a romance?
I know.
All they do is move fast.
I know.
I can survive through a slow burn, but if you can give me everything right now, that's what I would rather have. Like, give it to me up front.
I know. I'm down. So it was so funny. People kept telling me, So that's why I added the backstory that they were friends. That was not in the original. The original was that they had grown up together, right? That they were young together, but I added the whole thing that like he kind of like, right, where she like figures out like, he liked her. I added that all in because I was being told like, it's not, you're moving too fast. I was like, what is happening? I was like, don't go on a date with me then.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Right. Gosh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's
wild. Yeah, I think we need you and Lauren to get together and write a story where Bennett and Wyatt are just, I don't know, maybe they go on a road trip to commiserate their girlfriends being like a little high strung.
a little
high
underestimation. We can talk, but I feel like there's a couple people like Meredith Shore. Didn't she do that for As Seen on TV? Like she wrote like another epilogue. I think she did that and she released it. Like it was a PDF and she just like was like, I just want to write like I don't know if it was in like alternative ending, but it was like a next, right? Yeah. Like, so I had the epilogue. So then it was like after.
I like
we should
I always
want more.
Yeah, I always want more.
It could kind of be like a fun little like, hey, remember these books? Because it's not January anymore. Like it could be a fun little thing, I should talk to Lauren about it.
Yeah.
I should talk
please.
Yeah.
We need it.
We need it. I think you guys are both under the same publisher. I mean, you could get like a book to come out and
that's true.
I would not be mad at that.
Well, I am writing the next one and it is a romance. It is a romance. It's like full on romance. So, and it's
where nobody's going to be cranky that they move fast because that's what they're supposed to do.
Well, it's so funny because I was writing the 3 chapters to submit to my editor and she's like, they're going to like do stuff, right? I was like, oh, hell yeah, they're going to do stuff. Yes. I've been dying to write this stuff because clearly I wasn't allowed to write it here. So I'm writing it there.
Yeah.
Got it all saved up.
Yes. That's amazing. I love it. Is there anything you can tell us about it? Or is it all hush hush?
It's all hush hush because when it gets, it's still in the works, but the characters are a little younger. We still got some mixed race Asian Americans and all of that fun stuff. And the best friend in this one is like really like a total cool, awesome person. So it's a good one. I'm very excited. I'm waiting. My editor was just promoted to publisher over at Grand Central Forever. So like Leah Holtenschmidt, it was a big day for her today. So I was like, nudge. They're so busy. I mean, they read so much. Well, so anyway, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. And I have a children's book, not speaking of romance, speaking of not romance at all.
The complete opposite.
Children's book. Yeah, the opposite direction. Buzzkill, Kristen. I have a children's book coming out in the fall that I was just doing the copy edits on today. So that's super exciting. And September 1st. Yeah.
That's awesome. So this is the perfect segue because
it's a good segue.
Yeah, this is a good segue because we don't make the rules, we just enforce them. Now that you've been on the podcast, you're legally obligated to come back for every book release.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is I could just do this. This is so fun. We should just do this every night. Why don't people do this more? It's so funny.
I know.
I have a wonderful friends who have wonderful podcasts, and I'm like, why don't we just do this? Like, why did I have to write a book for us to get on a podcast and talk about
sit here and talk
fun things? It doesn't.
That's
I mean, it's
why
cool.
we did it.
That's literally what we did. I think I was listening to a podcast, and they were doing it was like the end of the year, and just like being thankful for all the listeners. And they said something like, just go do the thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the thing. And I texted Mandy, and I was just like, I have a question, but you have to read it. This is very important. I was like, I have a question, but you have to read it to the tune of, do you want to build a snowman?
Oh,
it was very important to me.
Yes.
And so I texted her, and I was like, do you want to start a podcast? It doesn't have to be a podcast. I was like,
and my response was The Office. Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was even starting out, it's like, does anybody care what we bought this week or like what we watched this week? Yes, people actually listen to it. Like,
I know.
And even if they didn't,
it's so
I still want to talk. Like, it's so fun.
It's like, I hate that we have to do it, but in this day and age, especially since because of the internet, all your friends are all over. Like, we have to everywhere. Schedule time to spend time together.
That's so true.
I mean, it sucks, but like, it's also really nice. Like, I get to see Mandy once a week. I get to, I have movie night with my other friend once a week. So it's like, you kind of have to, as an adult, especially. Yeah, do the thing.
And it's hard to make friends as adults too.
Oh my God,
so opportunities, like a lot of people are working remotely now, right? And I don't know. I talk to my two friends who live fairly close by on Marco Polo a few times a day, honestly, because our schedules are so crazy. Like we call them personal podcasts, and I like stick it in my car cup holder, and I'm like, so this is what my schedule's like. This is what I'm doing. Like I do it when I walk the dog, and that's how we stay in touch, because it's hard to maintain adult friendships and to make new ones. So
it is very hard. I always say, like, once you're not forced to be around somebody all the time, it's hard to find people you want to be around all the time.
Yes. Keep around.
Like, once you're out of because when you're in school, it's so easy. They're there all the time. Yeah. But once you're an adult, like, and you're working, I mean, you can make friends at work, but at the same time, like, you also want to be separated from that. And then how do you find friends outside of that if you're not? So it's hard being an adult.
For sure. I was telling Karin earlier today, actually, that I don't believe that I'm about to be 34 years old. I feel like I'm taking a nap, and I'm maybe like 7.
Well, especially with the 90s having their resurgence.
I know. It's really weird. It feels especially aging when the things that like you did like and were like at your core in like your teenage years, because that to me, like, is like where you really start to have very formative memories. Like, I remember a lot of my teenage years. It's very, very disheartening. You're just like, what is happening?
We talked about the American Girl dolls that are from the 90s that have the personal pan pizza from Book It, and I like want to throw my phone across the room every time
I went to a book launch over the weekend, and the author was saying her next book, like, she was joking, but also slightly not, like, it's set in the 90s, so it's historical fiction. I'm like, no,
you stop that right now.
I don't like that.
And
I mean,
like Blink 182 being classic rock.
I know. See, that's the thing. You turn on like the oldies station where I used to make fun of my parents, and I'm like, and like they're playing like Tupac. Do you know? Like, it is. I was just like, wait, what is happening? No, it was like 90s hip hop dance music on the oldies 98 channel. That's where you play like Elvis.
No. Yeah,
there is we are not rapping on. I love rap. Don't get me wrong. I love rap, but like not on oldies 98.
I'm looking for the Beach Boys if I'm putting on the oldies station. Like, where is Frankie Valli?
I don't like this at all.
I know. But see, proof there is life.
Still relevant.
Yes.
It's still relevant, baby.
Yes.
Still relevant.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Kristen, for hanging out with us. This is so much fun.
This has been so cathartic.
I know, me too. I was like, I can do this, because I'm on Eastern time and I work online, but I'm like, I get to talk about books and have fun and chat with
I always feel bad because it's like it's like 6 p.m. for me, and Mandy's like, it's almost time for bed. We gotta
I'm gonna
I'm sorry.
Walk right over. There.
I'm like, I'm
well,
sorry.
thanks for being so supportive of authors too. Like both of you, everything that you do, it really helps a lot. And it's so exciting, especially when you put, so many years, but like your heart and soul into something and have people be so excited about it. Like, I don't know, I'm sure everyone has said this, but it is just like, it's the best. It's really, truly the best. Like it means so, 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 so much. So I just have to say that. Thank you for being so supportive.
We feel the flip side of that. Like we're like just shocked that people are willing to come talk to us. Like we're
literally over here like, oh my God, we have celebrities coming to talk to us.
For real though.
It's crazy. It's truly like an honor to be able to sit down and just have conversations about things that we love. And people listen, and if they don't, I don't care. Like, you don't know, I still get to have fun. I still get I get to hang out with my best friend, and I get to talk to awesome authors about like books, and I really love books that we love. And and especially with like for example, you and Lauren are both debut authors, which I love, which we love to raise up, you guys. We've talked to indie authors, and both of you are mixed race, which means a lot to me. Like I'm Chinese, I'm not mixed race, but like it still means a lot to me because my daughter is mixed race. So it's like it's a little tiny slice of the internet where we get to, do some good. And the world sucks. So
I know. And in a space that a lot of people don't. In a space where a lot of people don't. It is very refreshing. So,
so it's nice that we just get to have our little corner of the internet, and nobody can say anything about it.
Right.
Okay, so thank you. We've kept you for a little bit longer than anticipated.
It's okay. It's all good.
Everybody
so much fun.
Needs to go pick up a copy of 1,000 Miles to Graceland. It is out now.
I know. I was going to say, I got mine on my Kindle.
It is so good. I literally... we love it. We love it here. It's such a great book. I think you saw it when I got the book. I like was crying. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. That was the best thing I'd ever seen ever. Like honestly, it was like I was just like, oh my gosh. I just feel like one of the reasons why, like when people are like, I've never seen myself in a book, like Celeste Ng's like Everything I Never Told You, right? Like that book for me, like I just read that like recently, and a mixed race family, like that was the first time honestly I've ever read, and it's different, like white Jewish mother and an Asian father, but like I never read that.
It's still something that resonates with you.
It totally resonated with me like heavily. I had like so many thoughts, not just about the story, but just about like my own identity and like where do I fit in. Like I told my boyfriend, I was like, I think I'm having kind of an identity crisis right now because I just haven't. I've always been like, oh, I'm white, or oh, and then I'm like, these like white people are doing annoying things, but then I'm like, wait, I'm also half white, and this is like so
my nieces struggle with that too. They're like, I want to claim that, but I don't want to claim that.
It's so hard. So I'm just thrilled. Thank you.
And I was telling Lauren when we had her on, I'm like, I really appreciate like Lauren and you in this space, taking up space for, mixed race people, whether that's Asian mixed race or other mixed race, because like I said, my daughter is mixed race, and I'm so, so excited that she gets to grow up in this world where we're seeing this representation so much more, because like you said, we didn't see this growing up, but now our kids get to, which is awesome.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
tiny little teaser. Maybe I am writing a children's chapter book with a mixed race protagonist. So we'll see. Yes. It's about to go out on submission. Knock on wood. I'm very excited. It was super fun, but it's all about my kids, not, it was always like Judy Moody and Stink and, Ivy and Bean, which are all great books, but like, like, can we have an Asian character? Can we have, and there are a couple there, but like, can we have a mixed race character, please?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm very excited that y'all are starting to take up space in the publishing world. It makes me very happy.
I'm happy that my nieces get to see it too. Like,
it's exciting. It's exciting.
Like, I love it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to share with everybody.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you soon. I want to be besties with her. I feel like she needs to be a third host.
I know, right? She's got so much. She's got so much going on though. She's got got 4 kids and a whole podcast, and she like does. Tired. She's got TV. Like she's got a lot on her plate.
She's super cool. That was so much fun.
That was so much fun. Everybody, go read 1,000 Miles to Graceland. It's so good. I love it so much.
Look at this.
He is really wanting to be a part of it tonight.
Hey, you want to say something? Nothing now. Okay.
Nope, changed his mind.
He did this to me when I was making a TikTok the other day. He was just like, "Oh, are these my followers? Let me say hello." Would you like to tell me what you're anticipating?
Sure. Well, when this episode is out, it will have already happened. But today is the 9th for me, which means in 3 days, we've got the Oscars, which I am very excited about. I have absolutely failed at watching all of the Oscar nominees. I didn't watch them all last year, but I did way better than I did this year. So apologies, but nobody actually cares because they were all just my opinions. But I predicted a lot of them last year. So I was like wondering if I could do it again. You had a whole
spreadsheet.
I did. And I did really well with my predictions. And so I was kind of hoping to see if like I could do it again, if it was just like a one-off fluke. But we'll never know because I don't have time to watch all those movies
800 movies
Sunday. But I really hope that Michelle Yeoh wins. I really hope Everything Everywhere All at Once wins.
Oh, it will. She will.
I really hope that Kiki Kwan wins. I really hope that I'm so torn with supporting actress because I want Stephanie Hsu to win, but I also want Angela Bassett to win, and they can't both win.
Ooh.
I know. It hurts me.
That's a tough one. Maybe they'll tie.
I know, right? Like Darcy did with the Fraggles. Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's what we can. Let's manifest a tie. It's gonna be a tie.
Would this be the first Oscars tie? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, like, that's fine. We'll take it.
I would take it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I want to win. As long as it's one of those two, I'll be happy.
Yeah. It will be.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis won the SAG award for it, so it's been an interesting race to say the least. But yeah, I just want Everything Everywhere All at Once to win all the things, and I want Hollywood to start taking Asian characters more seriously.
Absolutely.
It's also been like 20 years since a woman of color won for Best Actress.
That's gross.
The last woman of color to win an Oscar for Best Actress was Halle Berry. I forget what movie it was for, but it was like 20 years ago.
I was gonna say it had to have been in the 90s.
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago. And at the time, everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like the breakthrough. The women of color are going to start. No, it's been 20 years.
Of course not.
And the other thing is that, Michelle Yeoh is the only person of color in the Best Actress category, even though Viola Davis had an Oscar-worthy performance this year. And why do I keep forgetting her name? No. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up.
Jupiter Music.
What is the name of that film?
Not The Woman King.
No, there was the other one. Oh, for Till, I think.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, what is her name? Danielle Deadwyler. Yes, that's who it is. I was like, I know it's D and I know it's Deadwyler, but I can't remember what her first name is. I feel so bad. I've done it. This is the second time I've done
that. My brain went, you're trying to figure out the name of the Viola Davis movie.
No.
And I don't know why. I don't know why my brain went there. Sorry.
The Woman King is the name of the Viola Davis movie.
That's why I was like, wait,
you
that's
are
what
correct.
You're looking for, but it's not what you were looking for at all. I was just
but
I'm delirious.
Your train of thought, you were correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the year where Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler gave Oscar-worthy performances, we could have had a 3-to-1 person of color Best Actress category with them two and Michelle Yeoh, and instead we get Ana de Armas and Andrea Riseborough, who people are like,
Yeah.
So, not a fan of that. I'm really hoping Michelle wins. That'd be great.
She's gonna win.
People, I don't know.
Win.
She's up against Cate Blanchett as the other front runner.
I really love Cate Blanchett, but
she's got 2 Oscars
Michelle
already.
Yeoh needs to win that one.
I think if Michelle Yeoh wins, I might actually die. Like I might not be back next week, because if Michelle Yeoh wins, I might actually die. I can't handle it. It would be everything. It would be literally everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to stressing out on Sunday for no reason, because this does not affect me in any way, but it does.
Well,
it does.
You can do what you normally do for award shows, and I have a sleep timer that goes off at the time that I normally go to sleep. You can just blow me up and I'll read them on Monday morning when you're still asleep, because it's very early there. And it'll be fine.
That's fair. I probably will. Yeah, Mandy has her like do not disturb on when she goes to bed, which is really good, because I don't understand time zones and will text her at all times.
Are you anticipating anything else?
Well, next week we're talking to a guest, but the interview will not be airing until April, so I don't want to say who it is quite yet, but I'm excited to talk to her.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. Oh, I can't. It's gonna be the most chaotic.
Since we're talking to her, and just say stay tuned.
I mean, do we want to? Are we teasing too much? Do you want to know?
Yeah, I feel like I would hate us. We're talking to Lana Ferguson next week.
We're talking to freaking Lana Ferguson. I'm so excited. Okay, so we've talked about it in the past. Lana is a very good friend of both of ours, and before her book deal, we've been friends with her for years,
for a while. Yeah.
And so when we found out about this book, we lost our minds, and then we read early copies and lost our minds even more. Like, y'all don't understand. If you are a romance reader, or you just like some good steamy, oh god, it's so good.
Spice.
just go pre-order The Nanny by Lana Ferguson right now. It comes out on April 11th. We will be talking to her next week, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit, because it will not air until April 14th. So sorry, not sorry. It's something
next
to look
week's episode will be a little short, but that's okay. We've talked a lot lately, so we'll give you a little break.
We have really talked a lot, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah, it really has. This season has been a whirlwind, and there's still so much to come. So many exciting things to come.
Oh my god. I can't even. I'm so excited.
What is this life?
And we've got more coming. And we've just got more coming. We've got more to schedule. We've got, I think, 3 more people that we have to like schedule, like put down in the books, because we don't have official dates yet, but there's at least 3 more. Anyways, we will be talking to Lana Ferguson next week. I'm very, very excited about this.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
But y'all are just gonna have to stick around, because that episode won't be airing the interview won't be airing until the 14th of April. That's what I'm looking forward to, in addition to all the other amazing people we're talking to.
I am looking forward to You, which came out today, I believe. So
I'm right here, Mandy, and I actually came out last year.
Hello, You. I'm ready to see what's going on with Joe Goldberg. Just the way it left off.
That'll be your weekend.
That will be my hopefully either my Friday night or my Saturday morning. Hopefully nobody wants to talk to me, look at me, or think about me. So that I can binge it all in one sitting. And then Shadow and Bone is a few days away. I'm so excited. It's like a week away, but still.
I just remembered something else that I'm really looking forward to, that I just found out about today. Y'all West is announcing authors tomorrow.
I wore my Y'all Fest t-shirt.
That's insane. I know. I was telling she like accidentally manifesting things now. Like,
I know. Like, you text me, Y'all West is gonna announce their authors, and you sent me the screenshot, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. And I'm not really even thinking about it. And as I'm cleaning up the kitchen from dinner, I looked down and I was like, wait a second. I have not worn this shirt, I don't think, once since I got it. But today I was like, Y'all Fest. I'll wear that. And then you text me about Y'all West. Like,
it's crazy.
what?
So this is insane. So I'm looking forward to finding out who's going to be at Y'all West, and I'm also looking forward to going to Y'all West, which is in April. Very exciting. Anyways, that's what
spiel.
we're looking forward to. That's it. That's everything.
I think
It's time
so.
for the spiel. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I need my notes because otherwise I'll forget.
If you like the podcast, please like, follow, and subscribe.
Well, I was like, are you going to do it? You can do it.
No, that's just, I was trying to get you kick started.
I was like, if you want to do it,
I
that's
can't
fine.
do it without notes. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. All right, friends. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at The Incoherent Fangirl and Twitter at Incoherent Girls because Twitter's the worst.
Twitter
Ooh,
sucks.
we hate
Twitter
them.
L.
Head on over to Facebook and like our Facebook page, and then you can go to our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog, which has long form reviews. We've been very good at that. There's lots of book recs on there. You should definitely check it out. And if you would like to see our beautiful faces more often, you can subscribe to Patreon. Go to theincoherentfangirl.com/Patreon to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, you just want to tell us we're pretty, because we are. Hi. Send us an email, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love, love, love hearing from y'all. And one last way to support the podcast, you can rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. That would be amazing. We'd love that.
Yes, it would.
And she is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
And she is at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And yes.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to continue.
Are you going into our besties?
Yes, I was.
Okay, can I tell you guys about some new besties? I don't have a coupon code because they don't have any, but our friend / the show husband has started a podcast. If you're into like the paranormal and like spooky stuff, it's The Paranormal Mind, and their first episode is out tomorrow.
Yay.
So they're using a lot of the same websites that we use. So
we are just pioneers, obviously.
Yes, we are. Yeah, The Paranormal Mind on anywhere you get your podcast. And you can also go to searchersbelieve.com and find their podcast there. But yeah, the show husband. I guess now I'm the show wife. I don't know.
Oh, damn. What does that make me? The show wife-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Deal.
I'm never going to be anybody else's in-law, so I'll go with that. All right. Well, once you've followed us on social media, followed the podcast, visited The Paranormal Mind, you can go and visit our internet besties and do some shopping, do some self-care.
Yes. Retail therapy.
Head over to herecomesthenerd.com. You can use code FANGIRL and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Then head to onceuponabookclub.com and use code Mandy10 for 10% off.
And after that, you're getting all cozy with your brand new books, your cute new art. You're going to head over to grimoiretea.com and order some tea. Use code FANGIRLT to get 10% off. But remember, there is no I in Fangirl. It's FANGRLTEA.
And last but certainly not least, because you know she is like the Incoherent Fangirl favorite, like our darling, Amber D. Lewis writes the Fire and Starlight Saga, and it is Chef's Kiss. We love it. We love her. You need all of her things, books, merch, all of the above. So head to amberdlewis.com and use code FANGIRL10 for 10% off your purchase.
And rumor has it, she just dropped the pre-order for the next novella. So, I mean...
And it's good, guys.
And you gotta get on that. We love our internet besties.
Yes,
they're amazing.
They're the best besties.
The bestest besties, and we should have them come back and hang out with us on the podcast. We should have Sam on for the first time.
Sam needs to
we
come
need to
on.
have somebody from Once Upon a Book Club come hang out with us.
I need to ask Logan if she'll come hang out with us.
I know. That would be fun. Okay, we're going to tag team. You get Logan, I'll get Sam.
Okay.
We got this.
Gotcha.
And that was the Incoherent Fangirl. Thanks for listening. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.